Hey, good morning, everyone. Christian Ballard, sports journalist with Ballard Sports Media. Hope everyone's doing great. Leave us a thumbs up if you're watching. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. Um, if it's a little echoey, I apologize. I decided to do it outside of my bedroom. But anyway, got the TV on. They're talking right now about the draft, obviously, on First Take. But they're talking about Shador Sanders. Why did he fall out of round one? And I have a couple different opinions on it. We'll talk about the draft as a whole last night. We'll talk about some of the better players available for today. I think that there's a lot of different ways teams could go. Uh, Pretty much 32 picks last night. I guess everyone picked. Let me double check. Um, yeah, no, everyone did not pick. The Falcons had picked twice. They traded and got from the Rams, the 26th pick. They went James Pierce from Tennessee, which I think is a good pick for them. The first one was Jalen Walker, so they kind of built in the trenches last night. Tyler Warren, I predicted, would go to the Colts at 14. They need a really good tight end there. I got a couple different picks right, I think. Um, not not too many. Uh, but the big thing is that surprised us all, I think, was that Shador Sanders did not get taken. And I kind of want to talk about that. I also want to look at what's best available for teams and really just in general for tonight's draft. And then we have rounds 4 through 7 tomorrow, and we'll be live for the draft tonight. And I believe it kicks off at 7 p.m. Eastern. So we'll be here for it. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to hanging out with you guys. Come watch the draft with us. Now, Shador Sanders. I think Shador Sanders is a really talented quarterback, as does everybody else. I think we can all agree he's not the worst thing we've ever seen. He's not, you know, I don't want to say he's going to be a bust or he's not. We don't know. But I feel like there was something about him that teams passed on him. Now, you could sit there and say, well, not a lot of teams need a quarterback this year. Fair enough. The Browns do, kind of, at some point in this draft. But they go number 5 overall, and they go defensive tackle Mason Graham. And I like that pick for them. They need that. But you gotta get yourself a franchise guy, and their biggest need right now is quarterback, at least what, ESPN and everything's saying, and obviously, they just haven't really had that go-to guy, at quarterback that we look at and say, "You know what? I think this is the guy." I don't think that they've had that, and I think it's very possible that tonight you could see them take a quarterback, whether it be in round 2 or round 3. Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett is who they got on their depth chart. Now, Joe Flacco's been there, done that. He's really not a go-to starting guy today, at least. He was for a while. Joe Flacco was with the Ravens, I believe, won a Super Bowl. Um, But I don't think that's the go-to answer if you're Cleveland. I also don't think it's Deshaun Watson, who's been dealing with injury and stuff. And then Kenny Pickett. Well, you could try to roll the dice there. They have him listed currently as 3rd string. Kenny Pickett is for the Browns. But I really think they need a long-term answer, and I feel like with the Browns, what you should do is, is really draft a franchise guy. I think that's what they should do, and I think it should be Shador because I think he's the best available out there as far as talent, um, at the quarterback position. So, I really think that Stefanski, the head coach and everything, I think he wants to build this offense. He wants to get back to it. He needs a leader. I think he's at some point going to get a quarterback in this draft. And I think it should be right out the gate tonight when it kicks off. I don't know, but I think that's when it should be. I got to hear from you guys on this too. If you're watching this back, thank you. Comment down below what your thoughts are. So there's the Browns. There's Shador. Could they go any other quarterback? You could go Jalen Milroe. Um, y you absolutely could. Let me add this to the screen. Let's look at what's available and everything. Best available quarterback, Shador, obviously. I will full screen this here for you. We'll talk about it, and I'll zoom in just a bit. Okay. So they got Shador, Tyler Show from Louisville, and then Jalen Milroe. Now, I don't know much about Tyler Show. I guess I know his name now because he's in this draft and everything. But I know I've heard the name float around. I've watched Louisville's offense the past couple years. He's great, right? I don't is he the number 2 quarterback left in this draft? I mean, you're talking about a class with Will Howard, Quinn Ewers, Riley Leonard, Jalen Milroe, Dylan Gabriel. Those are some big names from college football this past couple years. It really is. What's up, Roll Tide? How you doing, buddy? Roll Tide. Milroe is 3rd round. Probably. Probably. You're not if you're the Browns and you take a QB tonight, whether it be 2 or 3 round, um, you're not looking to take the highest rated quarterback, are you? Are you? Unless it is Shador. If it's not Shador, they're probably not gonna go Tyler Shuck from Louisville. It might go Milroe. It could go Quinn, could go Howard. I mean, they could take whoever they want, but there's right and wrong options, at 33 tonight, really. So, turn this down just a bit. So, I do think that there's a right answer, there's a wrong answer for teams tonight, and I think it all starts with the Browns, not just because they have the first pick of the night, but more so because this is critical. This is really critical. You Stevens, or Steven Kevin, sorry, get it mixed up with his last name there. Um, he's entering his 5th year, 6th year, whatever with Cleveland. He's made the playoffs twice. He's had his moments. Um, so he's got a below 500 record. Now it's close to 500. It really is. They're giving him a really good chance here, though. Going back to June of last year, uh, and they're coming off a 3-14 campaign for the 2024 season, but that off season they had signed him to a contract extension. I'm not sure what it was, but they had signed him. Now you look at it, you're coming off 3-14 after you made the wild card in 2023. You went from 11-6, your best record since COVID, to 24, you go 3-14. You need a quarterback. You need a leader for this offense. You've let guys go. You have had some injuries. That's fair. I mean, everyone does. But you gotta get a leader tonight. You gotta start out night 2 if you're the Browns. You gotta pick up a quarterback. I don't care if it's Milroe. I really don't. I don't care if it's Shador. It probably will be. It could be Will. It could be Quinn. Honestly, I think Kevin, Coach Stefanski could work with any of these quarterbacks. Now, you're not gonna go all the way down here and get Brady Cook or Cam Miller or any of these guys, but, and you're probably not gonna pick up Gabriel or Curtis Rourke. I think it'd be one of these top 5 guys. Shador, Tyler Show, Jalen, Will, or Quinn. Maybe Kyle McCord if you really like what you see. But that's rolling the dice even. I think once you get to the Kyle McCords, um, and even once you get to, like, the Quinn Ewers of the world, that's, like, early day 3 tomorrow. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. Who else is picking? Who else is picking? So the Browns will be on the clock tonight. They did take a defensive tackle. Um, then the Texans, who finished and won the AFC South last year. They really need a lot of protection, a good running back. They need a lot, kinda. I mean, the defense is solid too. Um, but yeah, I just you get to round 2, you got the Browns, you got the Texans, you got the Titans, first 3 picks. The Browns again at 36. So here's the thing. You could hear me. Hear me now. Okay? You're the Browns. You pick twice tonight, at least in round 2. You pick at 33, you pick at 36. Okay? I look at that and I say, one of those has to be a quarterback. If not, you're tripping. You're tripping. If if you don't put myself back on here, if you don't take a quarterback with one of those first 2 picks of tonight for the Browns, you're crazy. They got 2 picks tonight on rounds 2 and 3. 2 of the top 4 in round 2 belong to Cleveland. They need a quarterback. I don't care if it's Milroe, Tyler Shuck. I don't care if you go after Shador, which is most likely, like I said. You need a QB if you're Cleveland. You need that. Okay. Who else picks? Let's see. Uh Texans are up next at 34, Titans at 35, Browns again at 36. Again, we talked about that. The Raiders. The Raiders had picked up, go back to last night here. Who did they get? Number 6 overall, Ashton Genty. Good pickup. Don't need a quarterback necessarily, but that's another team out there. The Raiders are like um I don't know. Let me see what they say they need here. I'm assuming they need maybe a pass rush or a wide receiver. They do need wide receiver. They need offensive guard. They need corner. They need safety. They got their running back in Genty. They got the 5th pick of tonight in the 2nd round. I think you go defense here. I mean, you could. When you look at best available, what if you go corner? Who could you get? Best available. I mean, that's possibly where Will Johnson comes in, Siobhan Reveal. Could you go Ben Morrison from Notre Dame? Trey Amos? of Ole Miss, there's a couple different good corners out there that could go tonight, I think. But that's the Raiders. I do I wanna do this? Okay, we'll talk about the Bucks. Now to the Bucks. Now, w to all the Buccaneer fans out there criticizing Jason Light, criticizing Todd Bowles, criticizing Emeka, I thought it was a good pick. You cannot have continued, like, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Mike Evans been in the league about 10 years. Chris Godwin, spring chicken, got plenty of time. They bring him back. Okay, cool. Why would you not get a young weapon in case, number 1, of injury, number 2, it gives you a third option at wide receiver out there because they usually run 1 tight end, 3 wideouts at Tampa, one of your more traditional types. That's a good pickup. I like the Emeka Egbuka pick. Now you get to tonight. They need corner, they need edge, they need linebacker. Now they said they're mad not because they necessarily picked Emeka, but because they didn't go defense. Well, that's where I think it goes tonight. They got the 21st pick of the night tonight. Um, and they pick it round 2. Let me see. They got a second round, a third round tonight. Tomorrow they got 4, 5, and 7. No 6th-round pick. Okay? They are picking at 21-53 overall tonight. They'll be after the Seahawks, Broncos, teams like that. So you gotta be careful because you got a lot of teams out there that are gonna need some defensive help. Do you trade up if you're the Bucks? If you're really careful, if you're like if you're trying to invest in your defense like you should, which you probably should have done that crap last night. I like the wide receiver pick. I'm not gonna complain too much. I do think they should have gone defense, though. They do need to get defense tonight. I don't care if it's pass rush. I don't care if you get a D tackle. I don't care. Maybe you get a corner if Will Johnson falls to you. Siobhan Revell. Defensive tackle wise, Darius Alexander of Toledo is very talented. Shamar Turner, um, Alfred Collins, TJ Sanders of South Carolina. What if you go linebacker? You go linebacker. You're talking about Carson Schwezinger from UCLA. That's hard to say for me. Demetrius Knight. Edge. Mike Green. Mike Green's still on the board. I originally had him going to Tampa Bay in a trade. They would trade back in the first round. They pick up Mike Green, get more picks. Yeah, I had that originally. That's not what I have now, but that's obviously not how it worked out last night. They did pick at 19, but Mike Green would be a stud. I love this guy. He's fast. He's versatile. He can stretch the field as a defensive edge. He can do a lot of things. He's mean. Hard hitting, and he's from Marshall. He's really, really good. He led the FBS in sacks last year at 17. He goes from being really fast to just hitting you forcefully. He's so good, man. He's going tonight. But if he's there for the Bucks, do you take him? I think you should. If you don't take him, if you can't get your hands on him, Izuruku, Donovan Izuruku from Boston College is really good too. 6'3", 248. I'd say he's about the same Mike Green. So I don't know, man. I let me know your thoughts. I'll drop the link. Y'all want to come on and talk? Let's talk it up. I don't care. Let's do it. There's a lot of interesting teams, a lot of interesting picks needed. Bucks could go edge. They really need to. What else they need here? Let's see. Linebacker. Who could they get at linebacker? I think we just talked about that. Yeah, we did because I mentioned Demetrius Knight and company. Tight end. I hope they don't take a tight end until maybe tomorrow. But if they did take one tonight, I could see them going Mason Taylor, Terrence Ferguson, Gunnar Helm, or go at the top with Elijah Arroyo from Miami. He's the top rated tight end at the moment. I think we had one last night, I thought. Let me see. Uh Picks by round. Did we have a tight end? Yeah, we had Colston Loveland. We had Tyler Warren. That was it. We had 2 Big Ten tight ends go off the board last night. Warren to the Colts, called it, and Colston Loveland to the Bears. I don't think I called that one. I think for the Bears, I had them going offensive tackle Kelvin Banks. I believe. I don't remember where I had Loveland. A little bit down, more towards the 17, 18 range. I figured he would slide. He didn't. So you go tight end. Are there any needs for the Bucks or any team out there that you look at, you say, it's not listed, but they could sure use this? Maybe another safety? I doubt that. I think we're good there, but maybe you build running back depth, even though, Bucky Irving, he might be the future. What about the Super Bowl champs? They took Jahad Campbell. They took a linebacker. They don't really need a linebacker, but boy, they love building up with Georgia and Alabama players. They need edge. The Eagles do. They need a tight end. They need another wide receiver. They need a guard. They need a defensive tackle. Patriots took what they needed last night to protect May at quarterback. Took Will Campbell of LSU at offensive tackle. They need a weapon. They need a running back. They need a safety. They need an edge. They need that. What about the Steelers? They took Derek Harmon. They need a quarterback. Or do they? I don't know. Mayhem's a Steelers guy. Um, it is so weird, man. I have a feeling at some point though they are going to draft a quarterback. Shoot, Mayhem actually I think was saying, we're going to get Shedeur Sanders. We should get him if he falls to us. And then I called him up on Derek Harmon. He said I like the pick. He also kept saying if Shedor's there, we're grabbing him. Like, well, no, you're not. Shedeur Sanders is still on the board. He's probably going to Cleveland. Maybe. We'll see. I think Milrow and the Steelers would be perfect fit. I'm not saying that to troll. Him or Will Howard. Will Howard could be an interesting name to watch for the Steelers. Keep an eye on him. So, the draft cast says Browns on the clock. Need a quarterback, need a tackle, need a wide receiver, need a linebacker. Best fit, Shedeur Sanders. Best available, Will Johnson. They really need a corner. They're probably not going to take Will Johnson. Just guessing. Uh, I want to see a day 2. Let me back that up. Mock draft NFL. Let's see. Saints Wire on MSN. Let's see what they have here. Share this from USA Today. This is from the Saints writers. Browns take Jalen Milroe. I'm gonna be a fan of whoever takes Milroe. I know I've been critical on here about him and all that. I love the kid. He's great. Great heart, loves the Lord, everything like that. And I do think if he's in the right situation, he can be successful, but he's got to be in the right situation. The Browns, Milroe. Texans, Travion Henderson. I could see it. Kind of, sort of. I'll full screen here. And let's see. Nicky Manwari from South Carolina at 35 to the Titans. Let's see. The Browns in a trade, obviously, from the Jags. They not only go get their quarterback, they get a weapon, Luther Burden the third from Missouri. Raiders finally get Shedeur Sanders here off the board. Patriots, Mike Green. Good pick after taking Will Campbell last night. The Bears, Will Johnson. Saints, Tyler Show. Bears take Quinshaw Judkins. Michigan and Ohio State players. Nice. Jets take Mason Taylor. Who would they have the Bucks getting? There's a lot of good picks here. Let's see. Buccaneers at 53. Ariante Ursary from Missouri. No, Minnesota, I'm sorry. Offensive tackle. I apologize. It's Minnesota. Third round. Who the Bucks take? Barrett Carter from Clemson. Just take a roll with that. Dylan Sampson from Tennessee to the Bengals. Nice. Nice. Gunnar Helm to the Texans from Texas. My boy Malachi Moore to the Rams. My boy. Would Malachi Moore be a reach in round 3? Because I've seen some A3 predictions like round 5, but I don't know if that's a reach. But you take what you want, right? I think really people get upset over the first round more than anything. They don't really care too much about days 2 and 3. I mean, they care because they want to see who else they could take, but at the same time, you're not going to get your underwear in a wad. You know what I'm saying? Logan Brown to the 49ers, Mr. Triple, like I like to call it, because we get into the 100 range. 100th pick tonight. 49ers hold it. Who's going to be Mr. Triple? Logan Brown gets us in the 100 category. Falcons take Dante Thornton from Tennessee, wide receiver. I like it. I like this mock. It's not bad. How far did I get? Did I do all of my day 2? I probably did. Not. Um, not that it matters at this point. I had Will Howard to the Steelers at 52 is what I had. I had Milroe to the Raiders at 37. Figured they'd take a quarterback, but I'm probably wrong there. You know what? I'm deleting this whole delete file. We'll try to do better for 2026. Try to do better there. I just want to watch this weekend. Yeah, Tyleek Williams. He went to the Lions. Yeah. Mhm. Dude, I'm so pumped up for tonight's draft. I wish it was 6 already. 6 Central, but, what are some of these other picks? Tui Moloau to the Ravens at 59. Tate Ratledge to the Texans. I like it. He's a O-line from Georgia. That was another thing too. Um, the Falcons pick was interesting. I thought they went linebacker. They went Jalen Walker. I like that. I know Vic too was happy.
What's up, bro?
Oh, what's up, buddy? What do you think about the well, we talked a little bit about it, but Derek Harmon to the Steelers, and then we'll talk about tonight.
So, I thought you already knew this, but maybe not. I actually went live on your channel and did a reaction, and I talked about all 32 picks.
Did you go live on my
Yeah,
channel? Like last night?
yeah.
Oh, with both of us, right? I
No,
thought maybe you. No, you did your own.
yeah. I talked about all 32 picks. I thought it was a great live stream.
That's where this came from. Okay, I had saw that, and I remember I was gonna try to go live last night, but I had got tired, so you ended up going on it. I need to go back and watch it, but you're good, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I thought it went really good.
Yeah.
Basically, what I said about Derek Harmon is that I like the pick. I just
Mhm.
wish, that we could have went offense there.
Well, you probably could have if the Bucks didn't screw it up and take Ibuka. Now, I say that I love getting another weapon, but I'm kind of with the Bucks fans because I'm gonna be honest, Bucks Twitter and everything's kind of pissed off about it, and Facebook groups are pissed off about it. They said, "Why did we pick that up? Why didn't we go Donovan Jackson to help the O line? Why didn't we go like James Pierce to help pass rush?" Especially with pass rush, man. They wanted someone from there. They wanted like Malachi Starks. Like you had options and you took a wide receiver. Now, I love seeing wide receivers come off the board. I love getting big time playmakers like that for the Bucks. And I haven't heard Jason Light, who's the GM, I haven't heard his defense of the pick yet, like his presser. So I don't know why he even took him, but they obviously see something there.
Well, I was looking at the Steelers little thing. I watched it for a few minutes. I didn't watch all of it, but I watched
Right.
a little bit of it, and they were saying why they got Harmon is because he's very special, and they felt like somebody was going to grab him, so went ahead and grabbed him. My only problem was they don't get around to pick unless they trade up or unless they make a deal or something. Um, they don't get around to a pick, which is, in my opinion, that's really hurtful. And because I really wanted a quarterback, and they got
Yeah.
the best two. Well, Shador Sanders is still on the board. I believe Shador Sanders is going to the Saints. If Shador Sanders falls, I think you said last night that they had got the seventh pick of the second round.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure that he will fall to the Saints. The Saints will pick him up
Yeah, they
because
don't pick until they pick at pick number 40 in round 2 tonight between, the Bears 2 picks, but yeah. Um,
I think that's where Jalen Milroe will fall unless Steelers can make some type of big move.
do you think hold on. You were talking about Shador there, so what about Milroe?
I said Milroe. I meant Shador. Sorry,
Okay, okay. I'm making sure we're on the same page there.
but Milroe. Do you think there's a possibility that they draft him in a different position? Is that a realistic possibility for Milroe?
I mean, they'll call out quarterback when he gets drafted, but they might could use him in a running back or something.
Or tight end?
Could be. I've heard a lot of theories about that.
Do you think what as an Alabama fan, do you think he would thrive better in the NFL as a quarterback or running back or a tight end, or do you have any other position that you're like,
I
well, I think he would do
honestly,
good there?
I feel like either running back. I don't know so much about tight end, but I feel like running back's the go-to because of his legs. And I mean, I could see him thriving as a quarterback, but in the right system. And I don't think you start him right away. I think you give him 2 years on the bench behind whoever. Um, I, ooh, I do think he's got a future. I just, I, I think he wants to be a quarterback. I think that's what he should be because he is. He's just not ready to start right away. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you talk about system, you say in the right system. Right now, you look at the landscape of the NFL. What what team do you think Milroe the best to get drafted to right now?
Either the Browns or Steelers.
Steelers. Yeah, I mean, there
Maybe
was
the
some
Raiders, but the Raiders have kinda made some quarterback moves recently, I believe.
there's some there were some early talks a couple months ago about maybe Milroe getting with the Steelers, but
Yeah, I think the big names are the Browns, the Raiders, or the Steelers. Only reason I say Raiders, um, I I don't say it now, but for a while, I thought, they were gonna need a young quarterback to try to develop, for a little bit, and I just they they kinda have that now when you look at, um, their offense, plus they got all, like, these, uh, Pete Carroll's, the head coach now and stuff, and on the depth chart, they have Aiden O'Connell as backup, they got Geno Smith. I don't know. I do like Geno Smith. I know he's good. Um, the question is, are you gonna, like, let's say something happens to him, he gets hurt, he can't play, something, because you never know. Do you have the depth? Do you believe in your second and third guys to go up and make plays for you? That's why I think the Raiders should try to target a quarterback regardless of what all these other experts are saying about, "Oh, they're good there. They don't need that. That's not their biggest need." I know. I get it. I love the Genty pick. Now get him a leader.
yeah, I would agree with you. I think
Yeah,
I think that the Raiders had to get Genty because
I think so.
that that if you look at the Raiders' history the past few years and you look at the running back position and what they were able to get, um, you know, as far as running backs and the success they had after getting running backs, right? Um, it's kind of like you wanted to do that again. You wanted to, see if that magic could be made again. And Ashton Zenty was being Ashton Zenty was being what's it called. He was being like him and Emmett Smith were being compared. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
last night on ESPN they were comparing him to like an Emmett Smith, and I said last night on the live stream that I think that Emmett Smith could be Emmett. Emmett Smith is probably a little bit slower. That's my little hot take I made. I think Ashton Genty's a little bit faster, and I said that Ashton Genty was like a little snake. I think he
Yeah.
can rattle his way, and he's very smooth with it, and he's able to uh, get through tight spaces that maybe other running backs can't. And he's also super strong, and he's honestly, you know, he's the ideal running back that you would need, especially if you're the Raiders.
Yeah.
So I
For sure,
think,
man.
you got a couple of quarterbacks out there, Jalen Milrow. You got a couple of them like Will Howard and Shador Sanders are still on the board. Um, you got a couple of them out there that are still needing a place to stay. So it ain't
Yeah.
like the quarterback position is totally gone. I think once Will Howard, um, Shador Sanders, and once them and Jalen Milrow are gone, I think then you look at your team and you're like, we can't pick up a quarterback anymore because I mean, what would be the purpose? You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
wouldn't be getting a great quarterback.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm gonna let you go because I am at work.
Okay.
But hope you have a great live stream.
All right. Thanks. Thanks, Mayhem. Love you, buddy. All right. I think I'll get out of here. A couple people watching. Thank you. Love you guys. Thank you, Mayhem, for coming on, showing up in the chat. Cody also showed up and Roll Tide. Yeah. So anyway, let's let's go live tonight for the drafts for rounds 2 and 3. React together, kind of give our thoughts, see all the picks live. Couple quarterbacks out there, like I mentioned, Milrow, Shador. Um, yeah, there's a lot of big names out there still. I think Will Johnson from Michigan still available too, and he's really the best available right now. I think overall it looks like it. Behind him, so your top 5 best available players, according to ESPN: Will Johnson of Michigan, a corner; Mike Green, Marshall edge; Nick Emanwari from South Carolina, safety; Donovan Uzuraku from Boston College is an edge, and then Darius Alexander of Toledo, a defensive tackle. Those are your top 5. A lot of other names after that. Love you guys. We'll see you tonight for the draft. Jesus loves you. Keep your head up.